What do we know about the upcoming second season of The Terminal List? More than you may think. After the early renewal for the Chris Pratt military thriller series back in 2023, we've heard lots of announcements related to casting, plot, and more. After the release of the prequel series Dark Wolf, let's dive in and take a look at what is coming up in Season 2 of The Terminal List. Season 2 is based on the novel True Believer. The first season of The Terminal List was based on the novel of the same name by Jack Carr. The series follows James Reese, played by Chris Pratt, who's a former Navy SEAL seeking revenge for the murder of his wife and daughter. After hunting down those responsible, including his close friend Ben Edwards, played by Taylor Kitsch, Reese moves on to find the rest of those in power who orchestrated the ambush on his family and friends. The second book in the series, True Believer, is described as, on his last combat deployment, Lieutenant Commander James Reese's entire team was killed in a catastrophic ambush. But when those dearest to him are murdered on the day of his homecoming, Reese discovers that this was not an act of war by a foreign enemy, but a conspiracy that runs to the highest levels of government. Now with no family and free from the military's command structure, Reese applies the lessons that he's learned in over a decade of constant warfare towards avenging the deaths of his family and teammates. With breathless pacing and relentless suspense, Reese ruthlessly targets his enemies in the upper echelons of power without regard for the law of combat or the rule of law. Luke Hemsworth will reprise his Dark Wolf role. The Westworld star appeared in a key role in the Terminal List Dark Wolf as CIA operative Jules Landry, who shares a direct past with James Reese. With a volatile personality and a narcissistic demeanor, Landry is both an asset and a liability who will prove to be a solid counterbalance to Chris Pratt's Reese. It remains to be seen if any of the other surviving characters from Dark Wolf will appear in Season 2, but it's most likely that Rafe Hastings, played by Tom Hopper, will appear in the story as he is key to the plot of the book. Gabriel Luna joins the cast as Freddie Strain. The star of The Last of Us has joined the cast of Season 2 as a former SEAL Team 6 senior chief and current officer with Ground Branch, the CIA group key to the first season. According to sources, the character is a man of two worlds, equal parts elite sniper and dedicated family man. His belief that James Reese survived the events of The Terminal List Season 1 will pull the most wanted man on the planet out of hiding and back into the fray. Reese shows Freddy that desperate times can call for operating outside the lines, while Freddy's commitment to family, country, and cause will help guide Reese on his path to redemption. James Reese's cancer will still be a factor. If the series follows the books, Reese will eventually undergo surgery to remove his tumor, but in the books, this didn't happen until the third installment, Savage Son. Given that the books are still being written, you can reasonably assume he survives. There is no word as to whether Season 2 will address plot elements from the third book, but it is possible. Many Season 1 characters may not be back for Season 2. Constant Wu's character of Katie Buranek survived the deadly end of the first season of The Terminal List and is key to the third novel, but she and other characters played by Arlo Mertz and Jean Triplehorn may not come back until Season 3. We do know that Mayans MC star JD Pardo will reprise his role as FBI Task Force Officer Tony Layan. This season could tease a second season of Dark Wolf. The Taylor Kitsch-led prequel ended with Ben Edwards starting his new role with CIA Ground Branch, which could lend itself to additional seasons that eventually lead to the premiere episode of The Terminal List, but we may not know more until we see this new season of the flagship series. There's a lot of potential to develop Hemsworth and Hopper's characters, and where we find them in Season 2 of The Terminal List could factor into that. Anton Fuqua may be back to direct, or maybe not. While Jack Carr and series showrunner David DiGilio will be back to shepherd The Terminal List, it remains to be seen if Anton Fuqua will helm any episodes. The acclaimed filmmaker was aboard Dark Wolf in a producer capacity only, with Terminal List helmer Frederick E. Otoye directing some episodes. Fuqua was excited about returning to the world of The Terminal List before the strikes in 2024, but he's also involved with directing Troublemaker, the story behind the Mandela tapes, and other projects that could prevent him from getting back behind the camera this season. When will we see it? After a delay caused by the SAG and WGA strikes, Amazon shifted their focus to finishing production on The Terminal List Dark Wolf. Now that Dark Wolf has debuted, filming is currently underway on the second season of The Terminal List in Toronto. Production kicked off in spring 2025 and is expected to continue through the fall. With post-production and marketing, it seems likely The Terminal List will return to screens in early 2026, the March or April debut at the soonest, but will potentially follow the summer window of the first season, which will premiere in June. Stay tuned to JoBlo.com as we learn more about the second season of The Terminal List and all of your other favorite shows. What do you expect to see in the upcoming second season of The Terminal List? Let us know in the comments and click the like and subscribe to follow all of our latest original videos.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.